Dave Gorman on Absolute Radio with SwiftCover.com for car insurance prices that'll blow you away. Get a life. Get Swift Cover at SwiftCover.com. Absolute Radio.
Hello, my name is Dave Gorman. This is Absolute Radio, and I'm here with Emily and with Jimmy, and we've just recorded our first live show.
I know, it's so exciting.
It's
What
exciting.
did you make of it? Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. It goes so fast. That's always, if you do other things, like, so 2 hours of television is so uphill and hard work. You don't do 2 hours of television. 2 hours on stage is a stupid amount of time. You shouldn't do that long. But 2 hours of radio sounds, you sort of view it through that prism and think, oh, it's going to take forever. And actually, it just whizzes by. It's a completely different thing.
It was lightning fast.
And you two were a pleasure to be with, can I just say? I feel really disloyal already.
Do you feel like you have to say that? Do you feel like you have to say that?
Poor Gareth there.
Oh, no.
You know, in the hospital waiting room, a bag of nerves, and he has to hear this as well.
Yeah. And we did have, when we sort of met on Wednesday and we talked about things, and we made a few notes of subjects we were going to bring up, and I think we talked about 2 of them out of maybe 10 or 15 that we'd written down, because listeners just kept sending in stuff.
Great emails,
which is
tons
lovely.
of emails. What is everyone doing up this early on a Saturday to send that many emails is what I want to know.
Well, these days people can send emails from anywhere.
Do you think they're just lying in
messages,
bed with their Blackberries?
I sort of refuse to enter that world. I still live in a world where I have to go to my computer to engage with things. Otherwise,
oh, that's so 80s, I love it.
I know, but otherwise I'd never go to sleep, and I have to leave it behind somewhere. I have to have a place where I go there. That's where that happens.
Have you got a shed?
And then I go and have life.
Dave's in the shed again, checking his
I
email.
wish I had a shed. I really do.
The producer's waving her fingers, and do you know what that means?
That means it's time to introduce the podcast.
Yeah.
Here's the podcast.
Absolute Radio.
My name is Dave Gorman, this is Absolute Radio, and I'm going to make a solemn pledge for you now. I'm going to be here for the next 3 Saturdays, and I'm never going to use the phrase, in for Frank Skinner. I'm not an American newsreader. It doesn't work like that. I will say I'm standing in for, maybe sitting in for, I might say I'm covering for, but if you catch me saying I'm in for Frank Skinner, slap me. And beat me up. If you're a regular listener, you'll know that there's normally Emily here. And Emily is here this morning.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Hello.
Good morning. Nice to see you. And Gareth is normally here, but he's away as well. Is he on paternity
Yeah, he's having
leave?
a baby. He's not having a baby, but his wife's having a baby.
Okay, so our thoughts are obviously with Gareth at this moment. But replacing him, we have Jimmy.
Hello.
Yes. Good morning.
I'm in for Gareth.
Don't say that. I know you're younger than me, but it's an American phrase that's creeping into the British idiom, and we need to fight these things.
And we don't really know each other, do we?
No, we've sort of, we met when I was a guest on this show,
We did.
and we met on Wednesday to have a sort of little sort of team meeting, a bonding session.
So this is a bit like the first 10 minutes of a swingers party, I reckon, where everyone's standing around not quite sure of each other.
That tells us everything about who we are, because you think, you, Emily Dean, think this is like the first 10 minutes of a swingers party, whereas I was thinking you're like stepmom. And that changes the whole swingers thing. Now.
Very hot.
Stepmom would probably be welcome.
A hot stepmom, definitely. I'm not, not casting aspersions. But you're sort of, because you're the regular,
Yes.
you're sort of in charge here. You're sort of, we're...
don't
It's
say
like
that.
you're trying to get to know us.
Yeah, I won't keep saying, oh, Frank never does that. That's not how he does it.
I bet you do.
Gareth,
You're not my real mum.
And this is also, I guess, Big Brother started this week, you're into that, I guess.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Why do you two not like it?
Not particularly.
I always think I hate it, and then there's a 50-50 chance of me changing my mind halfway through the series and getting into it. But in the first week, I always take that, oh, no, I hate it. I hate it.
No, it's brilliant. There's really good characters. There's this guy, Siavash, who came in a kind of electric blue suit, and at firstly he said... Buenos Aires as a greeting instead of Buenos noches.
Which is pure Del Boy.
Yeah.
That is, isn't it? That is. Monge too, yeah.
He was absolutely brilliant. And then, there are loads of quite hideous characters, which means it's going to be good. And there was another guy who came in who looked a bit like Russell Brand, who said it smelt of Allied carpets, which I thought was quite funny. And quite
Yeah, no, absolutely. I appreciate that. I saw a little bit of the repeat on the morning after, and I only stayed watching it because Davina was wearing a rubber dress. And that was interesting to me. But I sort of felt like I was watching some school bullies. And I had sort of felt a bit awkward and dirty and sullied.
Oh, you'll get over that in a couple
I will hard enough
Did
and
you
get
used
used
to
to
watch
that.
a lot of school bullies at school?
At very close quarters.
Did you just
Yeah,
study them?
at about
What are you
3
doing,
inches
Dave?
from
I'm
my
watching
face.
The bullies.
They were bullying me.
I saw the guy with the sideburns, and he reminded me of early Dave Gorman when you were...
He looked like Wolverine.
Yeah, hang on. That's two teaming me there. With a sort of now you're bullying me. So you're going. You're saying something which isn't a criticism or a compliment. Just that I used to have sideburns, and all of a sudden I'm like Wolverine by proxy.
Yeah. They were impressive sideburns. Yours.
Because I saw a photo of the guy who's supposed to look like Wolverine, and just thought he looks like I don't know, like some fat comedy character version of Wolverine. He didn't look like the real deal.
He said at one point, he said, I mean, I'm in great shape. I'm 35, I haven't got a hearing aid. 35? You're going to have a hearing aid at 35?
You're supposed to be bionic, let alone have a hearing aid.
He must have some really, really bad 36-year-old friends, mustn't he? He's just sort of hanging around, making him feel like he's still in good shape. I did know a friend of mine said, the crowd booed someone because they wore a top hat. And I thought, well, times have changed. That wouldn't have happened in the Edwardian era, would it? You'd have been roundly applauded for wearing a top hat. That's not good. And we shouldn't really encourage the idea, because people will be listening to this, and the trouble with things like Big Brother is it encourages this sense of empowerment in an audience, and they'll be trying to evict us.
Yeah,
if we let them think
I
that
didn't
they have
realise
that
was
kind of power.
part of the deal. Are we up for eviction during?
Well,
the
no,
show?
I'm just saying if we talk about this often enough, people will feel empowered in that way. And you can get in touch with us. We would encourage that, but not to evict us. You can text us 8 12 15, phone 033 023 12 15, and you can email us on the absoluteradio.co.uk and look for the links and get in touch. But you can't evict us. You don't have that power. You can listen, you can join in, you can interact, but you cannot evict. So, tough.
I'm going to go into the diary room in a minute and just tell them how the first 5 minutes of the show's gone.
You are though, aren't you?
Yeah.
I bet you are. There's some website you're keeping some surreptitious blog on.
I'm just going to go and talk about my feelings towards you, Dave.
I don't like this modern world. I don't understand so much of the modern world. A friend of mine came round to my house, and he hasn't met my girlfriend, and he was looking at my Nintendo Wii, because I'm that modern, and he saw her avatar and went, "Oh, who's that?" And I said, "It's my girlfriend." He went, "Oh, she looks pretty." From an avatar on a computer game. This is too modern for me. I don't understand.
But you do know
the
what
world.
an avatar is.
Well,
so
yeah, I know that.
We're not that old, Jimmy. We know about avatars.
I don't know what an avatar. I wouldn't know what an avatar.
Do you know? I'm going to go for the cheesiest link ever.
Go on.
Right now. Do you know what this conversation is? It's unbelievable.
Absolute
Radio.
There you go. EMF with Unbelievable.
I love
you
that
would have
song.
told from my cheesy link. An intro. I love that song.
Yeah.
It's a great song. It reminds me of my...
Did you used to dance in fields to that song?
Not in fields, but I was at university and I would do that. I haven't actually taken any drugs, but I'm pretending to be Bear's dance to that.
I haven't taken any drugs, but my trousers
Look at I'm
baggy
pretending
enough.
my eyes are a bit dilated. Kind of dance. Now, I mentioned that we met on Wednesday as a team, and this is basically this is like our second date. But I want to bring something up with you, Jimmy, which is on Wednesday when we were having our sort of team bonding experience. You suddenly realised that it was your mother's birthday.
Yes, it was my mother's birthday.
So you had forgotten your mother's birthday.
Yes.
And then this morning when we came in, you said, "Is there anywhere I can post this?" And you had in your hand your mother's birthday card.
You see, the thing is, I've had it for 4 days, but I kept forgetting to take it out of my bag. The thing is, this is not. I mean, this is. I forgot her 50th. This is not even.
This
is not good. This
I
is
forgot her
terrible.
actual 50th birthday.
There's no reason for you not to have left our meeting on Wednesday and gone straight to a post office and sent your mother a card.
Well, I was drunk on attention and the media swirl, and I just, I left and walked around London,
at least it's a great excuse.
Yeah.
Did you buy her a present?
No.
Oh.
No, I bought her a card.
You just said at least it was a good excuse. What you mean there was, he was excited he'd met Emily. Yeah. I can understand how that would throw him.
The thing is, I
me.
was so dazzled by our new stepmum that I completely forgot about my natural mother.
This is an awful thing.
You're going to have to buy her something really nice.
Can I do some kind of radio shout out to make up for it? Can I wish her a happy birthday?
Can you not call it a shout out?
I thought that's what it was called.
Well, it is.
I've listened to.
I think that's really Chris Moyles.
DJs.
I don't think we can allow.
Yeah,
it.
I don't think we should be bigging anyone
So
up
I'm not on board.
or shouting out.
None of us are on board. Are you on? None of us.
I don't know what you mean.
It's a bit. Yeah.
If you want to say happy birthday to your mum on air, you're very welcome.
Happy
to
birthday, mummy. I'm sorry I forgot to send your card.
Okay.
She sounded about 9 when he said
It's because I can see her face scowling at me.
Jimmy is about 9 for listeners. Just tuning in. I think we should also say happy birthday to, I think it's Europe's oldest man, and he's 113 today.
Oh.
So, that's
I forgot
exciting.
his as well.
Yeah, well, who hasn't? I'd love to know what he's got in his birthday box this morning. What present he's got. What is the worst present you've ever had? Obviously, you're very bad with birthdays. You've forgotten your mother's.
Yes.
Any bad presents out there?
I once got £5 for my 18th off a grandparent, which was nice. It was generous. It was still a present, but I think she was just slightly working on different currency rates. I think she thought I was going to go out and buy a threepenny suit, maybe a trip to the dogs, and then a couple of fish suppers and the bus ride home. But unfortunately, it was 1998. I couldn't even buy cigarettes with it.
I had a great aunt. I'm a twin, and my twin brother Nick and I used to get... Obviously, you get the same presents, basically, because no one wants to distinguish between two twins. And my great aunt, though, she used to give him record tokens and me book tokens. And I was so stung by that. I was a great aunt who could say, yeah... You're not as exciting as
You're
him.
the old square.
It was so devastating.
Actually,
in order to make you feel better, do you want to know... I've given the worst present, actually.
Oh, yes, please, do share.
Do you want to know what it was?
Yeah.
When I was about 8, I bought my dad 1 sheet of sandpaper.
No.
I'm not joking. And I wrapped it as well and made it look all nice with a bow. Can you imagine how disappointed he was?
What's he going to do with 1 sheet of sandpaper?
I know, and he's like a documentary maker. He's not even good around the house or anything.
Honestly, one sheet of
one
sandpaper.
sheet of sandpaper.
Do you remember what grade it was? Was it...
I don't think I understood the subtlety of grading. I just thought that'll do in the hardware store.
That's really not very good.
I remember actually my uncle once gave me a shop voucher, but it was in the form of a credit card, but he didn't put anything on it. So when I went to the shop to use it, the guy said, "No, mate, it's pay as you go. You have to put money on it." So all he actually did was just give me the card.
No.
There was no money on it, no credit at all.
Oh, that's a fantastic
So I had to
sort of...
then put the credit on myself in order to buy the book that I had chosen for my.
That's a fantastic way of giving a present, because you get all the glory of giving what looks like a really good present in the moment, and only later does someone find out how terrible it is, and you've left the scene of the crime. Yeah. That's quality. We'd like to hear what your worst birthday present is. If you've either given a terrible birthday present or received one, let us know. I'm sure you've got worse than these. Text 81215. Phone 033 0123 1215. Absolute Radio. My name is Dave Gorman. I'm standing in for Frank Skinner while he's away for 3 weeks. Before that, we asked you to send us your worst birthday present, either that you've sent or received. Anything on the text and emails?
Yeah, we've got some good ones. I've got someone here saying, my mum got me a T-shirt with a picture of my face on it for Christmas once from Alex in Clapham. We were about 16 and had to wear them when relatives came over. It's quite bad.
Oh, no. Yeah. I mean, I've been offered things like merchandising deals where they want to do T-shirts with my face on, and I won't do them because I would cringe if I walked into a pub and there was someone wearing a T-shirt with my face on.
Really?
The idea that I would wear my own face is even worse to me. That's so horrible.
Maybe you could go around the world trying to find people that wear Dave Gorman T-shirts.
No, I couldn't. I wouldn't want to do that. That would just be embarrassing. Also, you see anyone's face on a T-shirt and you think, oh, there's a missing person. And then you'd look and go, oh no, they're not missing, it's them. Oh, what a terrible campaign. I found them. They're wearing their own... It would be very confusing to you.
Hey, there's another good one. Kathy says, one Easter my dad decided that instead of chocolate he would give me and my sister a bag of dried apricots each. I would have been quite angry about that, I think.
That's a terrible... There's an insensitivity in a father saying to his girls, I think you've had enough chocolate. It's just not nice.
There's a brilliant one from an unnamed source that says they received a brand new light switch for their 16th.
16th?
A light switch?
A light switch.
Does it say whether it was wired in, they came into their room one day and the switch had changed, or they've been given a switch for themselves to wire in?
Who breaks a light switch? How could you possibly need a new...
I don't.
Also, particularly when you're 16 and you're unlikely to own your own property.
Yeah.
It's not a great present, is it?
No, it's certainly not. And when you say from an unnamed source, is that your way of confessing?
No, it's not me. It's my way of not being able to find the name because I'm confused by the email system.
Oh, Jimmy, you'll get used to it. I'll give you some lessons afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sound a bit dodgy.
Thank you, stepmom.
It's okay. That's all right. I think you should. You take him under your wing.
I will.
and bring him up to speed.
I do remember receiving a present, pictures of my father gave me a picture of himself.
Really?
For Christmas.
Not in T-shirt form?
No, it was in an ornate sort of foldable desktop-style display case, and it had a picture of himself in the middle.
That's bizarre.
Professionally taken pose.
That is fantastic.
That was lovely.
Was he wearing Victorian clothes, and was it all sepia? Those are my favourite kind of photos.
He was dressed as an Edwardian Big Brother contestant.
I always find, and any sort of photo of oneself, I find sort of difficult to put anywhere. And there was one of my local sort of corner shops, is run by two Turkish gentlemen who are either twins or just brothers who are very, very alike. And behind the counter, and it's just a regular corner shop, all the cigarettes and stuff behind them. And then stuck on the wall right behind them is a picture of one of them stood behind that counter. So that you're there watching him and there's an identical picture of the thing you're looking at immediately behind him. And I don't know what it's there for. Maybe it's because...
Why did they decide to take the picture?
I don't know. You just think maybe it's one of the brothers wants to know what his brother looks like when he's there. Yeah. Even though they look absolutely identical.
Maybe it's saving money on a mirror.
Maybe it is. I don't know. It's always confused me. Now, one of the great pleasures of doing this is that I get to bring in some records from home and feel like a 14-year-old boy bringing his friends around and go, listen to this. And this is one of my favourite bands. They're called Misty's Big Adventure. They've sort of become vague friends of mine. But this, to me, is a standout track. It's the story of love.
Absolute Radio.
There you go, Misty's Big Adventure and the story of love. And I said it's like being a 14-year-old and inviting your friends into your bedroom. And Emily, go on, tell me, someone's reacted.
Dave, already someone's just emailed in saying, waking up to Misty's Big Adventure has made my day. Evil is a song of the gods, and live they are amazing. Thanks, Steve.
Oh, well, that's made me very happy. Now I feel like a cool 14-year-old boy taking his friends into the bedroom. I got away with it. It's a good thing. It's very exciting. Now, I could tell you, last weekend I was away in Kilkenny in Ireland for a comedy festival. So I was staying in a hotel for a few days. And this thing happened. Basically, you always have a spare toilet roll. You start in a hotel room. There's a full toilet roll on the roll, and there's a spare one hanging around just in case, because they always overestimate the amount of waste matter a human body can produce. And about 3 days in, the toilet roll that was originally there was now down below a half. And I went out in the morning, and I came back, and the cleaners had been in, and they'd replaced it with a full toilet roll, which always seems incredible to me. It happens in all hotels. You're not allowed to have less than half of a toilet roll. That sends them into some weird spin of panic. I don't know why they can't cope with that. And what happens? I'm confused. I want to know what happens to the spare toilet rolls, the waste ends of toilet rolls, because these are the same people who put signs up saying, please reuse your towels, and do we have to take your sheets away, and let's care for the environment, and yet they're taking away every half toilet roll that ever gets left, which seems weird to me. I don't understand.
Maybe they don't want guests to have to use sheets or something like that.
But no, but there's far more even for girls who insist on mummifying their hands in toilet paper. And I don't know how I know that. I just somehow by osmosis have learnt that fact. Girls will mummify their hands to use it. Even if that's your technique, there is more than enough toilet roll for a 24-hour stay in a hotel.
I don't do the mummified hand. I do what I call more like a phyllo kind of pastry. So it's like folded into about 7 sheets.
Yeah, but even then, a roll and a half is still more than enough for you for 24 hours. It has to be.
Maybe they re-roll them. Maybe there's a man down in the basement somewhere whose sole job is to just re-roll them back into full, perfect toilet rolls.
Well, I'm glad for the employment prospects of that hopefully, maybe that can kickstart the economy if we start employing people to do ridiculous, trivial jobs like that. I don't believe that's what's happening. If you work in a hotel, can you please get in touch and tell me what happens to the bin ends of toilet rolls? Are they being used in staff quarters? Are people taking them home? I want to know, because it's frustrating to me.
Perhaps they just use it to bulk out the buffet. Maybe that's the main ingredient in hotel scrambled egg. It's just all the bits of toilet roll.
Oh, you could feel the whole room go, ugh.
Have you eaten hotel scrambled egg recently?
Yes, I have, but it neither tasted in a toilet roll nor, I should say, did it lead me to use any more toilet roll than was strictly speaking necessary. If you work in a hotel, in fact, actually, tell us what goes on behind the scenes in your work. If you work in a shop or an office or a hotel, whatever your place of employment, what goes on behind the scenes that we, the public, don't actually normally see? Let us know. For example, one thing that's going on here is you think I'm playing records and I'm not. There's a producer who's doing it, really, because I'm an incompetent oaf.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio. My name's Dave Gorman. And before that, I asked what happens to to the bin ends of toilet rolls in hotels? And I haven't seen it, but I believe we have an answer.
Yes. Someone wrote in and said that they're used in staff toilets.
They are.
Yeah.
I feel mightily relieved by
There you
that.
go,
It's
yeah.
nice to know that
They're going to a good home.
that's okay. So long as they're used. It was just the idea they were being thrown away that upset me and offended me. And anything else? We have two topics of conversation going on if you're just tuning in. You can text us 81215 or phone us 0330 123 1215. We'd like to know what goes on behind the scenes in your work that the public don't normally know about, and also what is the worst birthday present you've ever given or received.
We've got a lovely bad birthday from Steve, who got his brother-in-law a puzzle in which you have to find the correct combination of cubes to show a snooker table and its balls. The only problem was his brother is colourblind.
Every single part of that is wrong. He got his brother a puzzle.
That's the point.
That's already. I mean,
he thinks
really,
it's the colourblind that's
Yeah.
the bad. It's actually not. A snooker-based puzzle
Yeah.
for an adult male.
That gets worse every clause that you add to it. A puzzle, that's already bad. It's a snooker-themed puzzle. That's really bad. He's colourblind. That's atrocious. There's no redeeming features.
This
to
is
that.
quite bad as well. Someone says they received a lump of wood from their granny.
See, you could have done that and you got your dad
Whittle
some
yourself
sandpaper.
something nice, darling.
Make your own bookends.
Yeah.
Those-
And I also enjoyed this one saying for Christmas a few years ago, my uncle gave me and my 3 siblings a box of Maltesers to share, which is quite tight, I think.
Absolutely. Unless it
Yeah.
was a huge box of Maltesers.
Yeah, one of those cinema tubs.
Yeah, but that's definitely not a high quality present. I think one of the worst things I've ever had, and Mum, I love you, but she did give me a Liverpool Football Club wallet, which was a leather wallet with a fabric motif of the club emblem sort of sewn on the front of it, which you think, well, you know, maybe when I was 12 and it could have been my first wallet, that would have made some sense.
I like that of you out on a date. I'll take care of this.
Yeah, no,
Don't
exactly.
worry.
It's all right. And I don't know. I'm guessing that certainly 2 of my brothers will have received the same thing. It was a Christmas present, I think, not a birthday present. If I'm being completely honest, or even if it's a birthday present, my twin brother will have had the same thing, and none of us have ever talked about it, and I'm sure none of us are using them.
Do you have to, when you go home, do you have to take the Liverpool wallet and transfer all of your cards into it? And then...
I don't. Well, that is the other thing. Is, you know, I wouldn't get my mum a handbag because I know my mum is an adult who has a handbag. You know, I'm an adult. I must already have a solution for carrying money around. I don't need a new solution for carrying money. It's not something that you're thinking, oh, that guy, he's always spilling his credit cards are all over the place. He needs a wallet.
Mums just think about those things, don't they? Think, oh, Dave, he probably hasn't got one. He'll probably get him a wallet. He needs a wallet. You know,
I think
that's her.
There's a
it's
thing where
caring, it's lovely.
you sort of casually mention something once in passing to your parents, and all of a sudden you seem to be a huge fan of it. So I think when I was 16 or something, I once said something about quite liking Dennis the Menace, and then the next year I had a Dennis the Menace T-shirt, a jumper, Dennis the Menace socks. And you think, I'm not in the fan club.
That's true, actually.
It's just something, you know.
My brother said he quite liked the Spider-Man film, so I think for his 29th birthday I bought him strap-on wrist Spider-Man goo squirters, like web throwers, which I thought he would love, but obviously he was nearly 30, and it wasn't...
No, exactly.
Wasn't very
I think there's a story, and it's, you know, sort of tinged with sadness, obviously. There's a guy whose funeral was sort of Doctor Who themed, and his TARDIS, like coffin. And I think that's probably what happened here. He was probably just someone who quite liked Doctor Who.
He probably said it
mentioned
once.
to his parents.
Watched Doctor
And now everyone's going, well, it's what he would have wanted. And it's not. He probably wanted a real, normal funeral, just like everyone else.
Did everyone
Did they play
cry?
the theme tune?
I don't know. Oh, actually, I think everyone, that would be good music to be going into the flames in, wouldn't it? The Doctor Who theme. That's regardless.
I want Happy Days.
Do you?
Yeah, because it's one of my favourite programmes.
Which one? Because there were 2 themes to Happy Days.
Well, there's only one proper one.
Do you want your pallbearers to be dressed like Fonzie?
Yeah, I love that. I would love that. And to look like Fonzie. I'd
Really?
love that, yeah.
Okay, well, get in. I tell you what, we can add this to it. What music would you like for your funeral? We'll add that to a list. What's the worst birthday present you had, and what goes on behind the scenes in your job that the public don't normally know about?
Absolute Radio.
I'm going to paint a little picture for you here. I can't actually see the screens where your emails and your texts are arriving, but Emily and Jimmy can. They're sort of fielding them for me, and something that I don't know made them giggle. So please share with the
There
team.
are two that I like. One is my brother got me 6 packets of crisps for my birthday, which I thought was rather brilliant.
I love the idea. It doesn't specify, but was that one of those big bags that contains 6 bags that you get from the supermarket, or was it actually 6 individual bags, which is even worse?
Thoughtfully chosen. And then this from Daniel says, my grandpa gave me a present of a photo frame containing a photo of a black fox, which he thinks is my dog. That's what
It's the story between the lines there that's really lovely, isn't it? He thinks that's my dog. What is this relationship between the boy and his grandfather?
Did he take the photo of the black fox? Is it a regular visitor, or he thinks is in the present tense? It's not he thought it was my dog.
Now I don't know whether his granddad whether the man has a dog.
Yeah.
And the granddad has mistakenly thought a black fox was that dog, or there is a regular visiting black fox that the granddad has assumed is actually a pet dog. I don't know. There's complete confusion reigns.
Please, can you email in and tell us?
Please clarify that situation for us.
We've got a very worried Michael who's concerned about the light switch, because it seems that he also gave a light switch as a present, and he's now feeling pangs of guilt. And he says, you know that light switch that was given, was it remote controlled? Because I gave one as a birthday present to my nephew for his bedroom so that he could get into bed and then turn the light down or off.
Do you know, it hadn't occurred to me, we are obviously going to induce pangs of guilt in people.
We need to
As
hear
we
from the
reveal
nephew.
bad presents, there's always going to be someone listening who has given one of those presents.
Yeah.
And they're going to feel terrible.
If the nephew's listening, we need him to pop on his light remotely and send us an email clarifying whether it was a good or bad present.
I think it's fair to say that when we discussed the bad present of a light switch, none of us imagined it being a remote control. We all just imagined it was a light switch someone had to wire into the wall and deal with.
That sounds very James Bond and state of the art.
Yeah,
Do you think it feels better now?
Yeah.
Hope so.
There is a thing with, like, practical presents are always slightly problematic. You know, you don't give your mum a vacuum cleaner. You like that?
Yeah, I've been given windscreen wiper blades, things like that. I think that it's all,
do you
it's
have
all
a
good
car?
stuff. I do, yeah.
Or are you getting a car in instalments? Is that what's happening? Over 20 different birthdays, different components of a car are going to arrive, and eventually...
I'm getting a bonnet this year. I'm so excited.
I like the idea. You go, an alternator. It's just what I've always wanted.
Everyone's going to have to clarify what colour the car's going to be, otherwise it could end up being a mess.
Absolutely. But you're confident you can build it?
I think so, yeah. I'll put it together.
Any practical present type?
No, I once had... No, I remember my mother receiving an electric carving knife from my dad one birthday, and I think she cried because it was such a terrible present.
Well, that is so, because actually, even if you divide the sort of roles in life in sort of gender division, even if you go with the most traditional role, one of the man's jobs was carving.
No,
that would be,
not my dad.
Your mum might go and do the Sunday roast, and Dad would do the carving. That's when he would step in, and by buying that present, he's saying, "I'm not even taking that part."
Well, he was busy with his one sheet of sandpaper, obviously.
What do you think? Yeah, he was going to polish up the roast with your sandpaper while your mum carved.
Absolute Radio.
This is Absolute Radio. My name's Dave Gorman. I'm standing in for Frank Skinner while he's away. While that was all going on, there was a moment where Emily and Jimmy had to sort of gather around a computer screen to giggle together and see something that I wasn't allowed to see, which either means someone sent in some cruel and mean abuse about me, or someone sent in an amusing birthday present that they've received or sent.
Go on.
There's a couple of quick ones. I just have to wade through all the anti-Dave because I can't find it with all the bile that's coming through about. I mean, it's just keeping up with it is just. But we can combine two of our topics because Colleen from Buckinghamshire got a pack of 4 toilet rolls from her aunt for her birthday.
No.
I wonder if when they got down to half, her aunt replaced them. I would hope that she did.
You can't give toilet roll as a gift. You can't.
Personally, I would be happy to accept toilet roll as a gift.
Really?
These practical little things, fine.
Are you living in one of those houses where it's a really important issue? Is it shared accommodation? And
No,
if you haven't brought your toilet roll, it's not...
unfortunately, when we run out, I turn to other things. In like kitchen
Oh my
roll,
god, I
which is
so
never
don't
good.
want to know that.
No, I mean like kitchen roll or my sister's eye cleanser wipes or whatever's handy, and she doesn't like that.
Okay.
Apparently
Hey,
they're
listen
very
to
expensive.
this. When my son was 12, he gave me a stone for my birthday. I found out later my husband had given him money to get one and he'd spent it on sweets.
I love the thought process, because you could come home and say, no, I got robbed, somebody mugged me, I had some money I was going to buy. No, he's picked up a stone in the garden and thought that'll cover it somehow. Which he knows it can't cover it. He knows he's going to get found out. That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
This is terrible.
I did once when I came back from a holiday, I got my mother a toad, and it has a ridged back, and you run a little thing across its back and it makes a toad sound.
Yes, I've seen those.
They sell them in the airport in Bangkok, basically. It's tourist tat. I told my mother that I'd watched it being hand-carved by Cambodian monks.
Good.
In the middle of the jungle, and they dyed it with berries to colour it brown, and she still tells that to everybody.
You know how
you the house and sees.
You know how earlier you apologised to her for missing her birthday?
She won't be listening now.
Oh, okay.
Should have given up after 10 minutes.
Once she heard her apology.
Yeah, that's all she was in for.
Okay. Now, one thing we haven't mentioned, and you have a sort of present, which is sort of flawed, because you've lost your phone.
I lost my phone, yes. I lost it in the big shopping centre in London, the new one.
Yeah, and you've got your sister's phone as a replacement.
Yeah, which was lovely of her to give me her spare phone. The only problem was she didn't tell me that it has the Sex and the City ringtone loaded on it. I had no idea that this was coming until I started to receive calls on it in front of you guys.
Did it ring at lunchtime?
Yeah,
I did
it
think,
did, yeah.
Whose phone is that?
Can we hear this?
Okay, let's ring it. The thing is, I'm such a phone numpty that when I tried to change it on the bus, I just ended up playing it longer, so people thought I was sitting listening to it. Oh, right, okay. It's obviously been changed. I'm obviously not as much as a phone numpty.
You've built us up for nothing.
So sorry.
Jimmy.
Oh, God.
But that is the most metrosexual thing you could possibly have.
Well, look at me. I'm a pimp. I've got 2 phones. I feel quite
I've
cool
got
now.
on my phone. Frank says that. Do you feel like the new boyfriend? And I'm always going on about the ex now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Frank always says that my phone sounds like Cliff Richard's car alarm because it's church bells ringing. I'll play it to you one day.
Okay, but Sex and the City, I think, has got to be the worst ringtone going. And Jimmy is struggling with his phone to try and
I can't work
reset
it. And the thing is, it's not even like it's one of those. It's not even polyphonic. It's one of the old style kind of dotty.
But we have previously discussed how you're incompetent at changing it. Someone else has changed it, and now you're going to try and change it back. You'll get trapped in a vortex where it just becomes your permanent ringtone. It's a dangerous thing. Very excitingly, we have a guest coming up, and it's the wonderful Jenny Eclair.
Oh, fun.
So we'll be talking to her after this, which is MGMT.
Absolute
Radio.
You're listening to Absolute Radio. You're probably aware of that fact. My name is Dave Gorman. I'm standing in for Frank Skinner. You're probably aware of that fact by now also. I've got Jimmy and Emily in the studio with me, and our guest, Jenny Eclair, who we're all very excited by. And you've come in like a whirlwind.
I guess I thought I'd had to be quiet for a moment then. I was sort of sitting with my hand over my mouth, not talking. Because they said you had a free play or something. I didn't know quite what was going on.
No, that's coming up shortly.
Okay, that sounds to be quite exciting.
I think what you've done, you sort of, when that record was playing, you sort of gone through all of us saying today, okay, Dave, have you got a girlfriend? What's going on? A career for you. You should be an agony aunt.
Well, yes, but I'd be
scary
quite
agony
spiteful.
aunt.
It depends whether I liked the person or not, as to whether I'd give them good advice or not. Because some people just annoy me, like young pretty people, that sort of thing. If they wanted advice, I'd just give them really bad advice. Or say somebody said,
cut all your hair off.
Yeah, cut all your hair off. And maybe eat some more pies.
Stop washing.
Yeah, get really smelly. And start picking at your face. Pick your face. Pick. Or say someone said, can I have some advice about being a young comedian? I wouldn't give them any advice about that.
No.
I'd say, no, you're not very funny. So no, I don't think I would.
There's a weird thing, because one of the things I love about Grumpy Old Women is actually, I think it sort of allows you to be be more you than you sometimes were in your stand-up, more true to yourself.
Absolutely. And what's really weird is because once I realised that people didn't hate me automatically as myself, I've been able to sort of go out on stage much more as myself. And this is an interesting thing, not for many people, but I've always thought, I've got to have a support act. I can't do 2 halves by myself. But with the current climate and all that kind of thing, and you young lads are quite expensive. Recently I've decided to...
I'll point out that when she said young lads, she wasn't looking in my direction.
No, but Dave was once.
Jimmy.
He once did support me.
Yeah.
Do you know the worst thing about my career is that most of my support acts have gone on to be much, much much more successful than me. It's an absolutely galling thing, you know. I take these young boys and I put them in the back of transit vans. I teach them everything, damn it. And then Matt Lucas, Noel Fielding, yourself, you know, all these, and I'm left there still in the back of the transit van. What's going on?
It shows you've got good taste. I've forgotten what the question was as well, Jen. Don't worry about it.
But no, I
It's
started
okay.
doing a question and answer session, which is what all comedians do when they've run out of material. and I found that I can improvise, and people sort of are quite interested in asking me questions, and then I can sort of make comedy up as I go along.
But there's a sort of like a teenage girl level of spite.
Yeah.
Behind a lot of what you say.
Yeah.
Even the fact that you say, I don't approve of people going on holiday when I'm not on holiday. It's so, like, it's not as if the whole world can go on holiday when you are and not.
What I've realised is the most crushing blow that's ever been dealt to me is having to realise that the world doesn't revolve around me.
Yes.
It's one of those things, because I'm sort of naturally optimistic. I wake up in the morning thinking, it's just marvellous, maybe it's Christmas Day. And then my mood kind of wears off as the day goes on, and by mid-afternoon I'm a complete bitch. So it depends when you catch me as to sort of what kind of eclair you get.
Well, I'm glad we got you early.
Yes.
I'll say that.
Yes. But I am genuinely quite happy at the moment, because I am very excited, obviously, about being on tour with Grumpy Old Women Live. There's a website, and we've really got to push Peterborough, because it didn't get in the brochure, so that's the only one that's selling quite slowly. So, stir your stumps, Peterborough. There's a theatre called the Cressette. And then after that, we're in Wimborne, Tivoli, Warwick Arts Centre. That's selling very well. You'd be very lucky to get a ticket there. Crawley, and Winchester. 2 gigs in Winchester. So that's all good.
Excellent. I look forward. I think there's some weird sort of nexus where the sort of childish spite that we would despise in a 13-year-old girl becomes acceptable at a certain age. You're suddenly allowed to have all that spite and
I'm not
bubble
sure it's
forward.
ever acceptable, really, but I do enjoy it. I think I've got an enlarged spleen.
Is that what it
I've
is?
got a spleen that needs daily venting.
Oh my
I
God.
see it inside of me, sort of pumping, kind of. Yeah, I've got an enlarged spleen.
Absolute
Radio.
Absolute Radio. I'm Dave Gorman, standing in for Frank Skinner. We have Jenny Eclair in the studio, who is the easiest interview in the world ever, because she asks her own questions and
Do you
then
know
answers
what,
them.
Dave? You're not standing in for Frank. That'd be ridiculous. Can you imagine presenting a radio show standing up? Though that's apparently what Russell Brand does. He stands.
A lot of
throughout.
people do.
I don't.
Yeah.
I think the joy of radio is Charles, sit down.
Well, you've even taken your shoes off.
I take my and I can only
And you're
apologise for
doodling
that
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doodling. I'm scribbling all over the studio.
Now, in an effort to keep all the balls in the air at the same time, I should remind we have been asking you what is the worst birthday present you've received or sent, and we've had a couple more emails and texts in.
Yeah, we have. We've got someone saying, one Xmas, my dad gave my mum a necklace-sized box, and when she opened it, it was a calculator, so she could use it for food shopping. She was gutted.
Oh no, that's
Very cold.
I had a really bad Christmas present once, when I was about 13 or 14. I really wanted sort of some platform shoes or makeup and stuff like that. My mum bought me an angle poise lamp, so that I'd be able to see my homework more clearly.
That's a really depressing. Yeah. And the fact that you must have known what it was immediately as soon as you saw it wrapped.
It was,
'cause
well,
it'd be hard
it
to
was a
disguise.
big box, and I just thought, well, that's really, really, really disappointing. Never. She ended up with it round her neck, obviously, you know. Another email you've got there.
Yeah, we've got someone saying Bill gave his twin brother a tennis ball with 50p sellotape to it.
Some genius ideas.
That's from Joe.
Yeah. It's what it sort of reveals about both the giver and the receiver and what they think of each other that I love about this.
But I think,
as a
you know,
topic.
in these days when nobody's got any money, a good idea, if you're really struggling today, say like a friend of yours has got a birthday and think, what? Well, go to any old second-hand shop, get a second-hand book, right? Preferably by quite a famous author, then forge the author's signature. You know, if it's a really old one, nobody really knows.
No, absolutely.
Nobody knows what Agatha Christie's signature actually looks like. Just do it. Just say tons of love, Aggie. Maybe not that.
Yeah, and don't do it in a green biro.
No.
Sorry, no, there are giveaway signs. Yeah.
Think about it first. That's what we're saying. But, you know, sort of you could get, like, Paul Gascoigne's biography from a second-hand shop, and then you could do it with green biro quite badly spelled, maybe.
Well, you could do it with blood and spit.
You said it, Dave Gorman, not me. Yeah, you could just dribble.
It would be believable.
Yes.
Okay.
So I've got to go now, haven't I? Because she's just looking at me nervously, so I just would love to just plug one more time that Grumpy Old Women are back on the road. We've got this spring-summer sort of 7-date tour, mini tour. Go to www.grumpyoldwomenlive and you'll loads of information there. It is a very good fun show. It's, you know, I'd say it's fun for all the family, but it probably isn't. You should probably leave teenage boys at home because it would really upset them.
But I think it's sort of it is empowering in a way that the sort of Vagina Monologues was, but actually you'd feel a little bit better going as a bloke than you would to that. But it has that kind of empowerment.
Oh, the word empowerment, Dave. You've really spent far too long in the USA, haven't you? Might have to, if I could reach you, I'd slap you for using the word empowerment.
Do you know what? You can reach me and you can slap me.
Right,
go on.
Okay. There we go. Now we both feel much better. So, God, that's 2 boys I've slapped already, and it's not even 10 o'clock in the morning.
What a lovely morning it has been for Jenny Eclair. She's come in, she's slapped us about a bit, she's conducted her own interview, which has been a joy, because, you know...
But that's what I do at home as well.
No, it's a lovely... By yourself.
By myself.
In your
Hello,
kitchen.
me. And guess who I'm talking to today? That's right, me.
Oh, I love your world. It's the world I want to get into.
Even I get bored of me. I have to go and put myself to bed sometimes. Oh, shut up.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio. My name's Dave Gorman. I'm covering for Frank Skinner. And right now the studio is like one of those dusty American towns that's just been hit by a whirlwind. Jenny Eclair has made her presence felt and now left.
I've got post-traumatic stress disorder.
It's really... It's like being visited by a relative that you love, but you're really scared of not being good enough for. So you're cleaning skirting boards that have never been cleaned, waiting for her to arrive, thinking, I hope she likes us, I hope it's okay. It's really kind of... quite intense as a process, but enjoyable all the same. Lots of things we wanted to talk about. We sort of planned and we thought, we'll bring this up and bring that up, and we haven't really got round to them because, thank you for your contribution, listeners. You've been texting us so much
really
about...
good today, weren't
so
they?
much on the
Brilliant.
emails and the text, so we haven't got round to loads of things we wanted to talk about, so maybe
What's
we'll bring
your
those
favourite?
up in the next few weeks. I think the Black Fox... Which we don't know. We still hasn't been clarified, that situation. Maybe next week we can get clarification on whose granddad thinks what is actually the dog, and I don't understand.
The tennis ball with the 50p sellotape
50p tennis ball, definitely.
is good. So.
Yeah. Although a friend texted me also, on the Black Fox, a friend texted me to say that a mutual friend of ours went back to her parents, and her parents have a bar in their house, and behind the bar was a photograph of what she assumed to be the long-dead family dog. And she thought, oh, that's nice. And then she had a closer look, and it was actually a picture torn from a magazine that her dad thought, oh, that looks a bit like the dog, I'll put that there. Which has a similar kind of theme running through it. But no, we really do appreciate it. Have we had any others while this has been gone?
Yeah, we've got... somebody said they gave their friend a cabbage for their birthday.
No.
Yeah, which is quite bad, I have to say. And someone else said...
Unless you're playing the Crackerjack game, and they gave them lots of presents, and then they gave them a cabbage and they dropped them, then that's not fair.
Someone else says, my husband bought me a doormat for Christmas. I'd be quite upset with a doormat.
That's a weird sort of... There's a code going on there.
Yeah.
There was someone who's living at home who, for their 21st, was given a suitcase by their parents.
Well, that's not
Which is fairly...
there's no subtlety in that
clear
hint,
sign.
is it? That's
Get
time to
out.
move.
We
nice
want to retire.
Coded messages. We're running out of time. Thank you very much for your company this morning, people. And I'm talking to the listeners, but also to Emily and Jimmy. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Dave.
Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Coming up is Kelly, who is covering for Joe Russell. It's all covering this morning. God, everyone's on holiday at Absolute Radio. It's absolute chaos. That's what's going on. But this is Bruce Springsteen.
Dave Gorman on Absolute Radio with SwiftCover.com for car insurance prices that'll blow you away. Get a life. Get Swift Covered at SwiftCover.com.
Absolute Radio.